Hey everyone, Jamie here with Sweet Pickins. Welcome to our home. We're so glad you're here. All right, so we are in the fall making mode. We have a show in about 7 weeks. So I'm starting to, I have lots of goodies already ready to go. However, I'm still making and working on some things, especially this time of year when fall is starting to approach. Listen, it's only the beginning of August, but in my world, in the crafting world, fall has already started. As soon as August rolls, we are in fall. So it's just how it is around here, and lots of other crafters kind of feel and do the same thing. So we are in fall crafting mode. So I showed you guys another DIY on another video, how to make a fall riser for all your candles and your decor. Really fun, super cute. So I showed you guys that, but we're gonna be making several sizes of those for our retail pop-up markets that we're going to be going to. And then we're also going to be making several other things. So today I'm going to bring you along for another idea that people I know are going to love, because they like little small quick grab, you know, little inexpensive things that they can just grab and add and gift and not think about. So I'm going to bring you guys along. I'm going to make one today, and I'm going to make several more for the show. So let me show you guys what you're gonna need, and then we'll get right into it. So this actually is a fall paper, and this is a piece left over from our last DIY, that riser. So this is gonna work perfect. We don't like to waste anything. Then you're gonna need a piece of wood. So this is just a thin piece of wood. This is a 3x3. You can use any size you want. Whatever you have on hand, use that. So these are 3.5 by 3.5 that I'm using today. Then you're gonna need one of these little clamps. These are just in the office supply. They're just little clamps. You're gonna need one of those. Then you're gonna need index cards, plain paper, Post-it notes, whatever you'd like. You are gonna need some kind of paper. I grabbed these just plain index cards. So these will be really easy to use, and we already had them on hand. Then we're gonna, your paint, whatever paint color you want, your choice. So a paint brush, you're gonna need scissors. I'm using E6000 glue and my glue gun. I'm gonna use both of those. You're also gonna need a sanding block or your little gator sander. You're gonna need a foam brush for your Mod Podge. And again, I use the yellow label. So that's what we're gonna need. Sounds like a lot. It's really simple. All right, so what we're gonna do is we are going to start out with cutting these little index cards. So we're gonna just cut them in half. And honestly, I'm just gonna eyeball it. If you wanna make sure that they're all even, then what you're gonna wanna do is use a cutter, measure, whatever you'd like. So we'll put these together, and look, they all are perfect. So we'll have those. We're gonna set those aside. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna Mod Podge this piece of fall paper that I printed. We're gonna Mod Podge that onto our wood piece. Your wood piece can be thick or thin, whatever you like. Make sure you are putting a decent amount of Mod Podge on without making it goopy, sloppy, or going all over the place. You want it to be saturated, but not so much where it's actually dripping. And so if you guys have seen me do this in the past, I like to go over it several times, flipping the direction I go, just so I get full coverage and I pull off any excess product. That way we're not putting any excess on here, and then it becomes a goopy mess. So I'll go 3 or 4 times around. So that's it. Then what I like to do is take my finger and go around and make sure there's none gooping up on the sides. And then of course, you know, I just put it on my hands. So it's just like this. So now what you're gonna do, whatever image, you guys can use fabric for this, you guys can use tissue paper, you guys can use napkins, you guys can use printed images, whatever you have and whatever you like. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay this down. It doesn't have to be perfect as far as lining up goes, because we're gonna use a sander. So as you saw, it just moved. So I do still have a little wiggle room when it comes to this. So just hold it really tight and just take your fingers and go over and over and over, emphasizing on all 4 sides and those corners. You want to make sure it's really secure there. And what we're doing here is just smoothing it out. So making sure there's no air bubbles. If you feel any, just keep working in one direction. And again, make sure you really get those corners because you don't want it to peel up. All right, so let me show you what it looks like here and what it looks like over here. So we have a lot of excess paper right here. So what I personally like to do, I'm gonna actually put this away because I don't want yucky to get all on it. I reuse these. There's no reason not to reuse those. You can get several months use out of it. So because there's such an overhang here, I do cut it. So we'll cut it. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our sanding block, our gator, whatever you have, you're gonna go one direction. So you've got your image on the top, you're gonna file down, file down, file down, file down, not back and forth, file down, okay? Okay, so what you're doing is you're just smoothing out those sides, taking away that excess paper, but every time I'm lifting up and going down, lifting up and going down. And the reason why you don't file back and forth is because it'll lift. If you go back and forth like this, it will lift your image, and you don't want to do that. Even if your Mod Podge is dry, it still could lift. Okay, so as you can see, this kind of looks actually like a coaster. It's not. We're not doing a coaster, promise. All right, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna figure out what's gonna be the top and what is going to be the bottom. So I want my image here to be, I want this to be on the top. Hold on, let me see. Actually, no, I'm gonna have it be on the bottom. And then what I was actually doing here, let me show you. I've got George down here playing with the ball. So pick the image you want and then take your paper and see which side you're gonna see the most color and the most of your image. So I feel like the image is better at the bottom. So that's how I'm gonna determine. Hopefully that made sense. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our little clamp. What we're making is little clipboards. These are just really fun to throw in your car, to throw in your purse, to give as a gift. So what I like to do is I like to use E6000 glue. However, I want it to stay put while it's gluing. So I'll add some E6000 and then I'll add a tiny bit of hot glue because then it's really going to adhere. And then you're gonna eyeball, and if you can't or don't want to eyeball, then just measure out. But we're just gonna eyeball this in the middle. Get this in the middle. And you're gonna want to make sure no glue gets inside your clip because then it will glue it shut. Okay, so let me, Georgie, he's so silly. See, it's right there. You can see it. So that's what we're gonna do. So with using the hot glue, it is going to dry in a few seconds. However, the E6000 is what's really gonna hold it. That is gonna hold it. That's gonna be the factor that holds your clip. And I think I'm gonna pull this, I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of hot glue down here just to keep it even more secure. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hold this for a few seconds. That way we can make sure that the hot glue dries, and then the E6000 is going to take probably a full 24 hours to completely dry, and it will stay just fine with this. E6000 works really good. You could use liquid nails. I don't prefer liquid nails as much, so you can see it there. So now what we're going to do let's let that dry for a minute. Now with these, because they're going to retail, we are gonna make sure that we paint the backs. I want a complementary color, so you pick whatever color you like. I am actually going to pick E6000, that's a clue. Burnt Umber from Apple Barrel. And I just want to paint the backs of this right here. Just a quick coat, nothing fancy, nothing perfect. But I just want to tailor it and finish it off. Now, if you want, you can wrap it around on the sides. You can even add a little distress detail to the front to tie it all together, whatever you want to do. I am just going to paint the back. I'm not going to worry about the sides because you really can't see them. This is super thin wood, but it's perfect because it's not heavy. So I'm just going to throw just a full quick coat. And again, just pick a color that complements whatever you put on the other side. So there we go. You can see it. Perfect. It's perfect. Easy. See how quick and easy that is? So we're going to have to let both of these elements dry. However, this right here, this clip is most likely dry from the actual hot glue, but the E6000 is not. So I probably should have put these on here before, but it's okay. So we're going to lift this up. And here you go. So now what we could do, let me see, do I have a pen? Yeah, let me grab a little pen. So if you're gonna gift this, then you can maybe write a sweet little message or something on it. We're gonna write, fall in love with fall. Okay, so we'll just put a little message, but this is super simple and easy. So let me show you guys up front, close up. So you can see the back is done. Look how cute. So now it is a little clipboard. You've got whatever paper you want. If you want to make it really easy on yourself, just use some sticky notes, do a cute little message, and then how easy is that? And you guys can do these for Christmas gifts. You don't have to just do them for fall. Teachers, co-workers, simple, easy, sweet little message, put it in a bag with some little treats and some crinkle paper, and you have got an absolute gift. But isn't that easy? Easy and simple. So guys, I just try to be practical and show you guys things that you can do that aren't going to cost you a ton of money, because sometimes, not necessarily around fall, but Christmas time, we need so many small gifts to give. We need to give a lot of gifts to, our manicurists and hairdressers and our teachers and our nurses or care aides or, our mailman or whatever. So you could do a cute little message on here and throw a gift card on here too for those special people. Again, like I said, put them in a bag, put some crinkle paper at the bottom, throw some candy in there. This is just simple and easy and inexpensive. And they just take a little bit of time, but you could whip out a ton of these. So fun, easy. So all right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We are trying to get more subscribers, so we would love it if you tell your friends about us and subscribe to the channel. And then you can always find, I'm gonna do some close-up pictures of this. You can find it on Instagram and Facebook. You just have to type in Sweet Pickins Reno, Pickins Reno. Type that in. You'll find us on Instagram and Facebook. You'll see all these things. We put tons of stuff in our stories. And then don't forget, we have a website, shopsweetpickins.com, where you guys can find decorating inspiration. We have a blog. We have lots of pictures that are around our area. And then of course, there's a beautiful area where you guys can shop and find all sorts of goodies. So guys, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for stopping by, and we will see you guys on the next video.